Welcome to Smashterpieces, a casual walk through the history of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster. My name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And if you're new here, what we are doing on this show is we are playing one game for every character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from 1984's Stock Hunt to 2019's Fire Emblem Three Houses. And today's episode actually represents three characters because they're all one slot on the character select screen, and we make the rules. So this is fighters number 33, 34, and 35, which collectively make up Pokémon Trainer. We were here to talk about the 2004 Game Boy Advance game, Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen. And we are not alone, as you might know, if you listened to the pre-show, which I hope you did, because otherwise I'm gonna fight you. Or not. Actually, you know what? If you didn't, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We're joined by our friend Devon. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm excellent.
Okay. This is the first, real Pokemon game. Now, I want to...
Should we get the elephant in the room out of the way here?
Yeah, I want to preface this by saying things did not go entirely according to plan. In most ways.
Yeah, so this game, I had a save file disappear in addition to just generally having a very bad mental health time in the middle of this. So, I didn't really play this one. Some of you will consider this to be a failure. Oh well. We've got 3 more of these. I'm sure you'll watch me play all of those.
Also, to be fair, it's not like you're the first one to not finish a fucking game for this show. I didn't finish Dr. Mario 64.
Yeah, but you put substantially more time into the games you didn't finish than I put into this.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't remember playing Dr. Mario 64 for more than an hour before deciding I can't do this.
You know, that's fair.
I'm pretty sure that did not last very long.
Yeah, so I'm not going to have a lot to say on this. Sorry. I don't like Pokemon that much. But if you want to hear me say nice things about Pokemon, you should go listen to the latest episode of Connectivity, where I say nice things about the Pokemon anime.
But meanwhile, we're here to talk about a game. Obviously, Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen are remakes of the original Pokémon Red and Blue. You'd think the original Red and Green, but no. Because, those games, that game, Green specifically, never came out here. And also, I believe Blue was wasn't Blue specifically an improved version of Green?
Yeah, it was a update.
Well, so the way that it worked is that Japan got Red and Green. Then Japan got Blue. Then we got Blue split into Red and Blue.
Interesting. And then, of course, we got Yellow after that as well.
Yeah, and everyone got Yellow.
No part of Yellow is in these remakes as far as I am aware.
So just to recap that for a quick second, in Japan, Gen 1 was like the Kanto games got 3 releases distinctly within Gen 1. Yep. The first Gen 1 remake happened before we got any Pokemon game in the West, and the second Gen 1 remake happened during Gen 1.
It's beautiful.
I mean, the good news is we got better sprites.
Yeah, that is true. If you've ever looked at the original Pokemon Green sprites, they are ugly.
Which is funny because the back sprites in Blue are the same as the Red and Green sprites.
Also in Yellow.
Yeah, but you only got to look at the back of their heads.
Yeah, but some of them are visibly not the same Pokemon.
I actually don't think I do that, but I've looked at the original Green's sprites and they look terrible. Some of them are almost unrecognizable as the Pokemon we know today. Charizard looks weird as shit.
Yeah, I have a copy of Green.
And they also they all look evil. All of the sprites in Green look evil.
They definitely don't match the official art.
Gen 1 obviously has been the most remade of them. It also got Let's Go years ago. Oh my god, that was what, 5-6 years ago at this point?
A while. Yeah, it was early Switch.
Yeah, it's been a good long while since those games came out. Jesus Christ. But obviously it's got FireRed and LeafGreen. I'm sure at some point in like 8 years we'll get another one somewhere.
It is going to be about that time.
Yeah. But for now, generally speaking, I believe the like quote unquote definitive version of the Gen 1 games is considered to be FireRed and LeafGreen. Minus a part of the audience that played Red and Blue and refused to admit that any game after that was better. But
I take offense to that.
Do you? Yeah, Wait, do you? Which part?
Red and Blue are my favorite games because they're extremely broken.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's fair if you like them because they're fucked up.
Oh, it makes it so much more fun.
I'm more referring to people who think that Pokemon got worse from Gen 2 on.
Oh no, it got better.
Because it got better put together. Case in point, Kanto is horribly laid out. I forget because here's the thing. I did not play Red and Blue as a kid. My first Pokemon game was Crystal. So I started in Gen 2. And then I skipped Gen 3 pretty much entirely, and I don't remember why. And then picked it back up in 4, and I've played every gen since then. But a majority of my experience in Kanto comes from Gen 2, going and revisiting it after you've finished the Johto half of the game, which is a different experience because in that version, you don't have to worry about the weird design quirks of Kanto because you can go wherever you want.
Well, it's funny how Kanto is kind of set up really well as a post game where you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
Like the layout's really good for that.
But for the game that takes place in Kanto, they like designed it almost like we've joked a couple of times. This is a Metroidvania. This is kind of a Metroidvania. And it's not a great Metroidvania in terms of layouts. But yeah, I'm used to Kanto being a place where I could just go wherever the hell I want. And I always forget when you try to go to Saffron from any direction, some cop is like, I'm thirsty. By the way, you can't go to Saffron City. Goodbye.
Also, the level curve is terrible in Kanto. Like, it feels like it was built for you to have just a team of 4.
Yeah, I could see that. I never had to worry about grinding or anything because I did most of that off stream, 2 separate times. But, like, I don't know, especially with the HMs, that's where you can see it the most. And by the HMs, I mean, specifically Surf and Strength, which are both 100% required. Kind of Cut too, but Cut I didn't have any problem finding. But Surf and Strength I find particularly offensive in their placement. Because Surf for both of them you have to explore the Safari Zone in Fuchsia City. The Safari Zone is fucking huge. In a way I would say it is too big, but whatever. It's fine if it's optional. But it's not. Because it's a cool idea for an optional thing where you can go in and you can catch these Pokemon you're not going to find anywhere else. Like, that's neat. I like that. But to get Surf, you have to explore and find a house somewhere, and a guy will just give you Surf. And that's how you get Surf. And then for Strength, which you will not know that you need Strength until you step into Victory Road, you have to go and find some dude's teeth?
Yep.
And then take them back to him, and then he gives you Strength? And both of these are on the exact other ass ends of the Safari Zone? And you have a time limit.
Well, it's not a time limit, it's steps. I think it's 500 steps. And to get to the house with Surf, I think it's like you have like 60 extra steps if you take the most efficient route there. So if you do any exploring at all, then you can't get it. It's a little bit better in Red and Blue, because I believe the gold teeth are sitting right outside the house. So you just get both.
That's so much. Why did they change that? Why would they change that?
I was very surprised when I went to pick up the gold teeth outside the house, and it was like a full heal.
What possible reason could there be to make that change?
Because fuck you.
I guess. What was your ending team, by the way?
Let me think. I had Golem, Wigglytuff, Venusaur, Mr. Mime, Farfetch'd, and Lapras.
So for me, I did the same thing I did for the Pokemon that I used in Stadium 2, if anybody watched those streams, where I named all my Pokemon after characters in games that we have played for the show. So I picked Squirtle as my starter, so Barrett became my Blastoise. I have a Dugtrio named Rossetti, which it took me an embarrassingly long time to come up with that name because I forgot Mr. Rossetti exists. Because he doesn't matter anymore and hasn't in like the past 2 games. Paula, the Raichu, which I gotta give a shout out to our friend Fossils. He's the one that figured that out. Paula as in Earthbound for PK Thunder. Kazooie the Farfetch'd, despite the fact that Kazooie the Farfetch'd is in fact a guy, but whatever, it's fine. Richter the Machamp, which is my favorite one because I taught it Fire Blast, and people in the chat were like, why would you teach a Machamp Fire Blast? It's a physical attacker. That's terrible. And I was like, yeah, he's doing a Grand Cross. And then I made a point to use Fire Blast on Blue's Venusaur. The Venusaur then killed Richter, but the bit was worth it. And then lastly, I had a Gengar named Math2, because I caught a Ghastly and named it Matthew, and then that Ghastly had like the shittiest stats I could possibly imagine. So I caught another Ghastly and I named it Math2. And that's the story of that.
It's a good thing you were already at the thief store.
I was literally already at the thief store. So yeah, I don't think it's the best team I've ever put together. I tried to, my goal was to like not use any of the Gen 1 Pokemon I used in Stadium 2. So like Alakazam was off limits, Dragonite was off limits, and Snorlax was off limits. Otherwise though, it all worked out. They got me through it. The MVP of the Elite Four ended up being Paula, because she took one for the team so I could heal. I don't remember which one I healed to take out Blue's last Pokemon. But I revived somebody, and then Paula got hit by an attack and died. But because Paula had static, foe got paralyzed, I win. It was good. It was a good moment.
Who was the hardest Elite Four member for you?
Ooh, I think Agatha just about kicked the shit out of me. She's the only one that one of her Gengars almost fucked me up. Real bad. It did not go well.
Mine was Lorelei, because I realized the only counter I had for water types was weak to ice.
Oh, nice.
So I had to rely on Wigglytuff with Shockwave.
I luckily had Machamp and Raichu for that. Raichu specifically just fucking wrecked shop on Lorelei, because most ice types are water types too, so...
Yep.
It's easy win there.
All of them in Gen 1 except Jinx.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I had to remind people that Jinx is for some reason, Zero in our chat, who is going to be a guest in a couple of games, so you guys will meet him soon, I guess. He forgot that Jinx was psychic. He thought Jinx was full ice. So when I threw Gengar out to fight Jinx, he was very confused. I always forget that Jinx is ice type. Mainly because it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why she's ice type. Maybe it's something, cause like she's, what are Jinx based on? Are they just based on Gyaru, or is it something specific? I don't remember, but like, it's a specific like fashion trend in Japan. And maybe they're known for being ice queens? I don't fucking know. Why is Jinx an ice type?
Because why not? Because they didn't have enough ice types to make an Elite Four member, and they still put Slowbro on the team.
I would actively believe that was the reason if you told me officially. Like, I would 100% believe you were I told that.
I got confused for a second when you said that you had Gengar to counter Jinx, because I'm still in the mindset of Gen 1, where the only ghost moves were Lick and Nightshade, so you couldn't do anything to psychic types with those?
Yeah. Now, I had Shadow Ball, so that wrecked shop on that Jinx pretty damn well as a lot of Agatha's stuff. And then that Gengar came out with Hypnosis, and turns out Gengar's really fast. And Hypnosis hits more often when they use it, I feel like. It doesn't actually, I'm pretty sure, but that's what it feels like.
That sounds correct to me.
But I don't think any of the gym leaders gave me trouble. I think Misty beat me once, and then I went and ground for like 10 minutes, and then I kicked her ass. But I don't think any of the gym leaders put up much of a fight for me. The only thing that put up a fight in terms of the gyms was getting to Sabrina, as it always does. The Saffron gym is my nightmare every time I do it. And I'm pretty sure I drove chat fucking insane, because my method for doing the Saffron gym is not, I'll figure out the path. It's, if I just keep walking into teleporters, statistically, eventually I will land in front of Sabrina.
You want to know the secret to that?
What is the secret?
You just always go to the teleporter that is either vertically up or down from where you spawn in at, and you'll never fight anyone, and it'll take you straight to Sabrina.
Huh. That's good to know for if I ever play. Is it still the same in Gen 2, I wonder? I'd have to find out. I don't know.
I think it is. I think it'll still get you there. Now, the second half of the game, I didn't have any trouble with any of the gym leaders, because I had Lapras, and it learned Perish Song, so as soon as they'd send out their ace, I would just use Perish Song and had to survive 3 turns.
I think I got rid of one of the Elite Four's Pokemon using Destiny Bond. I don't remember which one it was, but that felt good. I don't think I've ever used Destiny Bond in a battle, so when it comes to single-player Pokemon, I don't strategize, because they're piss easy, and all you need is a really strong stab attack, and everything goes down in like 1 to 2 hits. It doesn't matter. So like, I don't use the old adage that I like to quote, which I believe is from a Tumblr post that I'll never be able to find again, I'm sure, is the only stat we are interested in changing is HP to 0. So I don't use stat changing abilities basically at all, ever. Because I am, if I'm battling like a human person that knows what they're doing, I will. If I'm battling something like an AI, I hesitate to call them AIs. They're just RNG picking moves. If I'm battling one of them, I don't fucking bother. I don't need to. You never need to. Ever.
I think Gen 3 is the first time they had, like, decent AI. Like, not great, but at least they wouldn't spam agility.
I don't know. When I was in Koga's gym, like, the first 3 trainers I fought all had their Pokemon exclusively use Meditate until they died.
I was gonna say that was probably because they had Headbutt, so I'm guessing it was Drowsy and Hypno, and it didn't have a kill with any of its moves, so it was boosting Headbutt up.
Interesting. That's not the smartest strategy, but okay. Sure. Whatever floats their boat. But yeah, I think it was either that or me trying to use Fly like 4 times in a row and Firo being paralyzed, so it would fly up the first turn and then be paralyzed the second turn and then fly up the first turn and then be paralyzed the second turn. And then on the third turn, it finally wasn't paralyzed and it used Fly, but then it missed. And that was a hell of a moment.
I was gonna say, this was the first gen that had abilities in it.
Yeah, it was. Which I kind of, for some reason, my brain always says that abilities were introduced in 4. And I don't know why. But 4 is the one that did move-specific special physical split, right? That was the big change for 4.
Yeah, right now in Gen 3, it's split based on the type.
Yeah.
Like, Ghost is physical.
Which I got those two mixed up, because I assumed that Gen 3 was the physical special split, and I assumed Gen 4 was abilities. And I don't know why. I have no idea how I came to that conclusion, but going in, that's what I thought. So, was not used to typing being what decides. You'd think I would be, having started with Gen 2, and Gen 2 having been the games that I've replayed the most, but I don't pay attention to that in Gen 2, I just kind of win. So, I don't know. Yeah, the game's not super hard. I like abilities except for Levitate when it's used against me. That's the only one that can go to hell, like directly to hell. Like directly to hell. And otherwise, I don't know what else to say, honestly. Like, it's Pokemon. They're a known quantity, obviously. I think it all came down to I don't like Kanto.
Kanto's okay. It definitely has its problems in that it was made poorly when they made Gen 1, and every time they do a remake, they don't bother updating anything. They do it more like a remaster instead of a remake.
Yeah, they keep it basically the same for better and for worse. So you can absolutely 100% tell this was the first time any of these people had ever made a game like this. Ever.
Yeah.
The other thing actually that gets me about the design in this game is that the caves and stuff, and then also you can sort of see this in the Rocket Hideout kind of, but Pokemon Mansion is also like this. They're designed like dungeons. Like JRPG dungeons.
Yeah.
And it turns out the Pokemon team of that time were bad at designing RPG dungeons. And I think this kind of like, it's actually kind of interesting to me to look then to Gen 2, where they kind of changed up how they did caves and stuff, because there's still like puzzles in caves. Ice Cave or Ice Path is still there. Like, you still got to do that in Gen 2, but it's 2 rooms. That's Ice Path. There's 2 rooms there, not like a labyrinth. And those, like, the excessively big caves still exist, but, like, for example, Union Cave is a straight fucking route from the entrance to the exit.
Yeah.
But then if you go to the left, well, then there's a whole shit ton of cave over there that you can go explore if you want. And I think that's the better way to do it in these games, and that's kind of how they started doing it past that. Mount Moon drove me insane.
Is that Mount Moon specifically?
Mount Moon specifically. I think the Pokemon Mansion also kind of drove me up the wall, but for like... I think I might have just been tired during the Pokemon Mansion, but like I was in Mount Moon for so fucking long, I couldn't find where to go.
What's the thing with all the dungeons in Gen 1, like most of them, if you know like which way to go, you're in and out in 5 minutes. Like Mount Moon, I think it's like you go all the way to the like upper left of the map and take that ladder, and then that just takes you out of the cave. Like, it takes you to the other floor, and you can go out. And then, what is it? The Rocket Hideout in Saffron, when they're inside the, Silphco.
Yeah, Silphco, specifically. I shouldn't have said Rocket Hideout. I was talking about Silphco.
Well, you can get out of there in 2 guys, because there's like, I think it's like guy on the 4th floor, you fight him to get the key, and then you open up like 1 door and you can go fight your rival and then fight Giovanni.
Unfortunately, as somebody that did not have a grasp on how those places are laid out, oh my god, I wanted to die. Mount Moon, more so than Silphco. I didn't actually super mind Silphco. As a general rule, I don't like dungeons that use teleporters. I'm playing Etrian Odyssey right now, and I just got through a labyrinth floor that used teleporters, and I wanted to fucking, like, attack the people who put them together. Metaphorically. I said that, you can't sue me now. And so that's the main thing that gets me about Silphco. But, like, Mount Moon, specifically, is because it turns out, and this is a problem not specific to Pokemon, this is a problem that almost every game that has caves in it has, which is every part of a fucking cave looks the same. They all look like cave. There's no distinction. They're all just cave. Cave is cave.
Hey, it's a little bit better in this one. There's like some water squirting out. There's, I think that was it.
Even then, like, it still all just looks like cave. Like, caves are, there's nothing wrong with looking like cave. But if you're gonna make me explore a cave to find the exit, I need more than just cave. Which doesn't work, because then it's not just cave. I don't know, man.
Look, there's also, like, nothing to do in there. Like, a lot of the dungeons are there to just be dungeons to travel through.
Yeah, they're kind of all, well, that's Pokemon in general. They're all kind of just, here's a place where there are a bunch of trainers, and otherwise, I don't know, man, just find the exit. Like, you'll get puzzles sometimes. Like, in this game, Victory Road has some strength puzzles, which weren't too bad. And then, like I mentioned, Gen 2 has Ice Path, stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, they're kind of just, they might as well just be corridors, except I would like a corridor better. Almost. I don't know, something about it. You could, like I said, you could tell that a lot of this is the result of these people had never ever made a game like this before. And I can forgive most of that, but when they remade it, they could have reworked some stuff, sort of.
I mean, that's pretty much the story of every Pokemon generation.
Yeah.
They update some stuff, and then don't fix a lot of other stuff. Like, I think, I want to say it was like Gen 6 or Gen 7 when they start taking competitive seriously, and put stuff in to help with that.
That late?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because then, well, didn't Gen 5 have the super training? Or was that Gen 6?
That was Gen 6.
Yeah, that was Gen 6.
Yeah, it was man. X and Y. I think they added that in.
I wonder if there was, like, even an idea from the Pokemon Company at this point with the original game, and even, like, at this point with these games, that a competitive scene even fucking existed. Because, obviously, now it's really easy to see it with online and shit like Pokemon Showdown, which I assume still exists solely based on a policy of, hey, you know what? we're just going to pretend we don't see that. And hand waving it away. But like, it's kind of impossible not to notice that kind of thing if you're deeply entrenched in Pokemon and all that nowadays.
Well, I mean, it's really the only place you can test anything.
But like back then, like I wonder how much they even knew the competitive scene even existed. I don't know. That's interesting to think about.
It feels like they originally put trading in the game to justify like the 2 versions and stuff, and that they added battling in just because they already had the functionality for it set up. Like, oh yeah, you can battle each other, and it feels like they did that for a while. Which, something interesting I found out about Gen 1 when they were making it recently. Recently I found this out, that originally they wanted to make it so the reason we have trainer IDs was because originally they were using that to, you would get a unique trainer ID and that would determine, like, what Pokemon were available in your copy of the game.
What?
Yeah, that's what they were originally trying to do, and, like, it would change some features of the map based on your trainer ID, and then they decided having that many different versions of the game was going to be too hard to program, so they settled on just making 2.
That sounds like a terrible idea. On the Game Boy?
Yeah, like, I mean, I can see how it would work, where each patch of grass, like, it pulls from your trainer ID what spawns there. So it would be, like, different in everyone's game, but, like, theoretically that could make it so, like, some Pokemon, like, people would just never see because that trainer ID hadn't come up yet.
Yeah, I could see that. Especially if they did something like that now, that there's fucking 1,000 of them!
It's like 1,300 if you count all the different forms.
I don't want to think about that. I don't really have anything else to say about the game itself. I mean, I think it's fine, but going back to older gens now is kind of difficult for me, because there's so many quality of life changes they have made since then. Like, Gen 4 is also going to be kind of rough, because I remember those being super slow, and the last 2 Pokemon games actually move at a pretty good speed. I like the speed they run at.
Platinum is slow.
Yeah, that's the part of Platinum I'm really not looking forward to, is the like general speed of how the whole game goes, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I am going to say something that might be, well, no, I don't think this is a hot take, but it might be surprising to be coming out of my mouth specifically. This game's soundtrack is kind of mediocre. And I don't mean that as in it's bad, because obviously it's based on the best 8-bit soundtrack to ever be written for a video game. But those songs were made to be in 8-bit, and oh my god, they fit in 8-bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think the GBA sound font works as well at all. If that makes sense. I think they come out sounding a lot flatter, like a Trainer Battle, for instance. Something about this game's version of the Trainer Battle, which is one of the best, like, RPG battle themes ever written, in my opinion. It falls flat. And I'll be real, I also think this about a good chunk of the battle themes in, like, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Specifically the Champion battle theme. I think the Champion battle theme version in Heart Gold and Soul Silver is not even remotely as good as the original. But I think it's a lot more obvious here, where the Game Boy just has not the best MIDIs there's ever been. And that's usually fine, because usually when you're doing music on a GBA game, you are writing music to work well on the GBA, but you can't really do that when you're rearranging pieces that already exist. And so, I don't know, a lot of the soundtrack falls flat for me in this game, though I will say I do like the gym leader battle. I think it's cool. Good as the original, but good.
Yeah, that's fair. You get used to how the sound font is. Like, I agree that in Ruby and Sapphire, I think the sound font works a lot better. But no, I still like these songs though. Like, I really like Lavender Town. Still think it sounds just as creepy.
I think that one translates over pretty all right. I think I'd agree with that overall. For me, when it comes to town music, it's all about Celadon City. Unfortunately, still not as good as the original, but I don't know. It's just I agree with like Ruby and Sapphire. Like, people really like the Ruby and Sapphire soundtracks, and they're good. They've got some good shit on those soundtracks, but they don't have the specter of the original Red and Blue soundtracks to hang over them like a dark shadow, ready to kill.
Yeah.
Fuck am I talking about?
So say my favorite song in the game, though, is the Hall of Fame music. That's just, yeah, that's probably the best music in the game to me.
That ain't bad. I dig that.
You gotta hear a piano cover of it.
Oh, there's a piano cover of all of these songs, I assume, and they're all probably... 8-bit music translates really weirdly well to piano. I don't know why. Yeah. Like, specifically, I don't know why. But it's very good. And that's... I don't know if you got anything else to say about Pokemon? What version did you play, by the way?
Both.
Okay, you played both. I played FireRed. Matt played, 4 hours of LeafGreen?
I don't know. I thought I did, but apparently it was a FireRed ROM.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's not like anything meaningfully changed. To be fair. What, you could catch a Weedle instead of a Caterpie?
Oh boy, what a difference.
Good for you, buddy. I don't know if either of you have any more thoughts on the game at all.
I don't have any thoughts at all. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Nah, these are decent remakes, but like they aren't as good as Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, which were also on the system. Like, I understand why they put them out.
It's okay. They made up for it when they did Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and they were really good. Except I'm terrified to go back to those games because I don't know if I'd like them as much.
That could be a bonus episode.
Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to see. But, yeah. This was our first Pokemon game. Things were a little rocky, but overall, I had a good time with the streams. I enjoy putting Pokemon teams together. I think I didn't used to be somebody that nicknamed my Pokemon, like ever. Like ever. I don't know when that started, when I started having fun, like, nicknaming shit, but especially on stream, it's a lot of fun to nickname Pokemon, especially when you have a theme to work from. So, I think that was probably my overall favorite part of the whole thing.
When you doing a Nuzlocke?
I've tried Nuzlocks a couple of times in my life. They ain't for me. They ain't for me. I do want to at some point play a randomized ROM of Crystal on stream. I think that would be fun.
Oh yeah, and they're super easy to set up too.
Mm-hmm. I've set one up before. I've just never streamed one. I think just like sitting down for a day and doing that would be a good time. But otherwise, yeah, Nuzlocks. I don't think so. Not for me.
As for my experience with this game, did you guys know about the DSiWare game, My Notebook Blue?
Anyways, Matt, we have a question that we ask our guests.
It was a DSiWare app that was just a notebook with 32 pages to work with. They released it in November of 2009, and then in December of 2009, they released My Notebook Red. It was the same thing, but you got 32 more pages to work with. Later that month, they released My Notebook Green.
I hate that that's thematically, appropriate.
Where's My Notebook Yellow?
Well, in August of 2010, roughly 8 months later, they released My Notebook Carbon, which allowed for 128 pages.
They fucked it up. It should have been gold. They fucked it up.
Afterwards was My Notebook Pearl. The series concluded a couple weeks later with My Notebook Tan.
Make up your mind. Are you copying Pokemon or not? Fucking be consistent, goddammit!
If you purchase the entire My Notebook series, that's a total of 480 pages.
So, Devon, thank you for being here talking Pokemon with us. Matt, there's a tradition we do with our guests, and you're usually the one that does it. So, take it away.
Well, Devon, let me ask you a question. Is there any member of Nintendo, or any employee of Nintendo, past or present, that you would like to physically fight?
Chris Pratt.
Technically, that is accurate.
Yeah, you're not wrong, I suppose.
He did get a paycheck from Nintendo in some form. Okay, you know what? I'll take it.
All right. Devon, thank you for joining us. I apologize that I had to effectively not be here for this episode, but I feel like if there was anyone that could carry like a Pokemon discussion with Joe while I can't, I think you were the perfect person to do it.
I do have 7 Pokemon games sitting at my computer right now that I've been playing between.
That is a pretty good resume, honestly. It's okay. We'll get another gen in like December of this year, and it will be somehow more broken than Scarlet and Violet were. And yet I'll still enjoy them because the worst part about Scarlet and Violet being broken is that they're also good games, and I'm mad about that.
And they've got Nyaha.
They have what?
Nyaha.
The fuck is Nyaha?
Sprigatito.
Oh.
Its Japanese name is Nyaha, which is Nya and Oha.
Fuck, they should have kept that. Man, fuck you.
It's really good. It's my favorite part of watching the anime. Just whenever anyone goes, Nyaha.
They should have fucking kept that. It's such a good name. It's such a better name. Anyways, before we get off on a tangent about, like, Nyaha, I am afraid we need to send you to the well now. So, here is your complimentary rain poncho. It does not work. Goodbye. All right. Well, with the well having been opened once again, it's really quiet in this room. I didn't know it could be just me and you.
Oh, we're doing the same bit that we just did off screen, huh? Off
yeah,
camera?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't know it could be just me and you again. You know, it's been
it won't be
so
for long.
Not for long, even remotely. Before we get into our next game, we actually have 2 games that have changed on the schedule, and by have changed, I mean they changed like almost a year ago, but we haven't announced them.
I wouldn't say almost a year ago. It was like 6 months, maybe. But
was it? It's been a real long time, but we haven't really announced it because I didn't want to I didn't want to do it during a pre-show where a guest would have to wait for us to do it. So now that we don't have a guest for the first time in the past 300 years, one of the games was changed at your executive decision, and one of them was changed at my executive decision. And I think, which one comes first?
Yours.
Mine comes first. Yeah, so Street Fighter V was our game for Ken for a long while. And the main reason for that was the idea would be like it's a then and now. We go from 2 to 5. 5 is about to die, and by that I mean by the time this episode comes out.
And also, no one likes it.
And also, nobody likes Street Fighter V. But like by the time this episode comes out, Street Fighter V will be dead.
But there's also no good reason for us to like do a game that released 2 years after the DLC for Smash Brothers ended. So we're not gonna. It doesn't make sense to do Street Fighter 6. So
we're gonna go back to the other most important Street Fighter game in the series, because arguably it is the game that like revived the genre when it came out.
Kind of. That's what I always hear.
Yeah, and that'll be 2008's Street Fighter 4, so that is now the game representing Ken. That's the game with, frankly, 10,000 playable characters. And I look forward to giving it a play. I'm still going to be terrified to talk about that game.
Are you going to play the 3DS version?
No. Maybe. Probably not.
Do you have the 3DS version? I do.
I do, actually.
It was I recall hearing it's the best-selling version.
It is, which is the most sad statistic I've ever heard. I actually have owned it twice. I bought it at launch because it was a launch title of the 4 launch titles, and I got it through a Humble Bundle, I think, after I'd already traded in the physical version of the what I bought at launch.
Nice.
So that's also the only version of Street Fighter 4 I've ever played, so I look forward to playing a good version of Street Fighter 4.
I've also only played the 3DS version.
That version doesn't even have all the characters. That's the worst part. They added more characters after that. Oh.
I plan on buying Street Fighter 6 though, so like I will actually know how to play Street Fighter by the time we get to Street Fighter 4. So that's going to be interesting.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
You should get Street Fighter 6 so you can keep up.
I don't know if I'll get it at launch, but I do plan on buying it at some point.
We have Steam Share, right? I'm getting it on Steam.
Oh, that's true. We do have Steam Share. No, I don't have it set up on my PC, but it wouldn't be that hard to set it up.
Anyway, the other game, it's partially because this is probably the better game to play, but mostly because at a certain point we realized this one did not really fit the logic we go to for like how the character is represented in Smash Brothers. So, and I feel like after Kingdom Hearts, I kind of owe you consistency. So, we have swapped out Bayonetta for Bayonetta 2.
Which, that works but because like her default look is Bayonetta 2. I don't know how much of her moveset is different between the two games. I've never played a Bayonetta game still. I'll probably play Bayonetta 1 before.
We might even bonus episode that.
Yeah, because I own both. So I can play both. But yeah, I think that'll be interesting. So yeah, those are two games that are changing on the list. Moving from Street Fighter V to Street Fighter 4. Moving from Bayonetta to Bayonetta 2. Just sort of worked out that way.
And Animal Crossing is still in this limbo if we don't know if we're actually going to be able to play New Leaf yet.
Yeah, we genuinely don't know if it's going to stay Happy Home Designer or officially move to New Leaf. And
it all comes down to Citra.
Yeah, it all comes down to Citra and my CPU.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could just say outright, we have decided we do want to do New Leaf. We just don't know if it's physically possible. So, yeah. Happy Home Designer is just in our back pocket.
Yeah, at the moment, at the very least. Hopefully we can figure it out, because I think it would be a lot of fun, what we're thinking of doing with it. But anyway, it's time to move on to our next game, which is not an RPG, which is really weird. We keep moving from, like, Fire Emblem's kind of an RPG, but not really. I guess. Strategy RPG? Yeah, sure.
I'd say it counts.
To a not RPG, to an RPG, to a not RPG, at which point next will be an RPG, and so on and so forth.
And then a not RPG.
And then another not RPG, actually, but then a strategy RPG.
And then two RPGs.
Back to back, that's true. It's making up for lost time. Our next game is representing fighter number 29, Zero Suit Samus. This is the 2004 Game Boy Advance game, and our second last Game Boy Advance game, the last one on our list to come out in the West at the very least. Metroid Zero Mission.
You've had a journey with the Metroid franchise here.
I have, in the weirdest possible order. So, what? I did Super Metroid for the show. That was the first Metroid game I ever finished.
Mm-hmm. Then Metroid Fusion.
Yeah, I did Metroid Fusion, we did that for a bonus episode. Metroid Dread, we did that on stream, which that game fucking rules. And then for the show, like, it was last year, right? We did Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime.
And then earlier this year, while I'm working my way through a bunch of 3DS games, I played Samus Returns. And now Zero Mission is going to be my sixth Metroid game.
After Zero Mission, you should play AM2R because it's Samus Returns in the style of Zero Mission.
Oh boy. It's a bizarre... And then Metroid Prime 2 after that.
Mm-hmm.
And statistically for a bonus episode, probably 3 after that.
And maybe even 4. And maybe even Federation Force.
But yeah, Zero Mission, from what I understand, I know you have hinted at there's something that I don't know, which, okay.
I don't know if you know it, but if on the off chance you don't, I'd prefer to keep it that way.
Literally all I know about Zero Mission is it is a remake of Metroid 1. That is where my knowledge ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know what I'm going in for. Obviously, this will, again, much like GX was to Blazing Blade, be a much shorter journey for FireRed, which I guess checks out since we're still pretty sure Paper Mario will be the last game we play this year.
I can and probably will play this game twice in one stream.
That will not surprise me when that happens at all in any way.
My best time is under an hour.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I look forward to it taking... What does How Long to Beat say?
Okay, so in fairness, this is also probably the shortest Metroid game you'll ever play.
Okay. How Long to Beat puts it at an estimated 4.5 hours. I look forward to taking 8 hours to finish Metroid Zero Mission.
Yeah, because remember how Super Metroid was like, on the same map and you fought 5 bosses?
Yeah.
Zero Mission is on the same map and you fight 2 bosses.
Oh, cool.
So, and then Mother Brain. So, it's a shorter video game.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Does it, be straight with me, does it have any bullshit like Fusion does?
You're gonna hate the Mother Brain fight. It is my favorite fight in the game. You're gonna hate it.
Fuck yeah, okay. Good to know. Great, awesome. I don't doubt that.
Mother Brain is a bullet hell.
It's not guaranteed I will hate it, but odds are high. I've played bullet hell bosses I like.
You're going to be surprised by Ridley.
Okay.
Not going to tell you how, but you will.
Alrighty. Where does the Zero Suit actually play into this, or is that something that I'm going to have to learn for myself?
In the death animation, Samus is wearing the Zero Suit.
Is that literally where the entire design in Smash came from? Is she...
There's not a lot of Metroid characters, okay?
Now we have 4 of them, and 3 of them are Samus, technically. Yeah, I think this is the second last Metroid game, though. 2 is the last one we'll be playing on the regular list. That's not counting bonus episodes, obviously. There's still some we can do for bonus episodes, but...
Oh yeah, that's representative of the fact that Metroid disappeared for a long time and did not reappear until after Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it sure didn't. I mean, it did, but then people decided to agree. We all agreed that it didn't. Because none of us want to admit that Other M came out.
And nowadays, everyone just forgets Federation Force, which, like, I've heard 2 things about Federation Force, not like from like people that have actually played it. Number 1, yeah, it was really stupid to announce this without also announcing Samus Returns, which was in development at the time. Number 2, every single person that has actually played Federation Force says it rules.
Yeah, that's the gist I've gotten.
I've heard it's not remotely a Metroid game, but the game that it is pretty good.
You know what game I'd suggest we do for a bonus episode, but I'm pretty sure trying to do it with the resources I currently have would be a fucking nightmare?
What?
Hunters.
That would be a nightmare. You're right.
I cannot see, like, a good way to play that game with the resources I have available to me.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to get all that stuff set up when I force you to play 358 with me anyway, so...
I guess. If people are wondering why none of the Pokemon Rangers games ever ended up on this list, that's why.
Hey, Wii U.
I guess. I don't know. I don't got anything else to say about Zero Mission. I'm kind of looking forward to playing a fucking platformer. This is the first platformer we've played in... What was the last 2D platformer we played?
The last 2D platformer?
The last 2D platformer we played was...
Kirby 64.
Jesus Christ. That was so long ago.
And before that was Yoshi's Story.
Good God.
And before that was Donkey Kong Country.
So yeah, and this is what, like the last one we play for the whole... No, we have Donkey Kong Country Returns, and I think that's the only other one.
Maybe we should consider changing that one too.
Possibly.
Because it's a little yikes.
Kinda. But like, I don't know, I'd be fine with switching that to Tropical Freeze. Tropical Freeze fucking rules.
I think we should switch that to Tropical Freeze.
We'll have to discuss that. I'd be super down with that. Tropical Freeze is awesome.
No, we're both super
rules.
down for it. Let's just do it.
Okay,
we're playing Tropical Freeze instead.
Tropical Freeze is awesome, so I'm looking forward to that. It's
cool.
Soundtrack is so good.
That's the creative process, ladies and gentlemen.
That's essentially how it goes here in this house. I'm pretty sure that will be the last 2D platformer we play in the entire show, though.
Yeah, it does look like that.
I don't think there's any others. Oh no, Kirby Superstar Ultra.
That's before.
Well, yeah, that's before, but that's one I missed when I was looking over and seeing which. I guess Wario Land Shake. It's also a 2D platformer. Okay, there's a few more than I thought, but there aren't very many.
No.
Is what I'm getting at. Okay, I got nothing else to say about Metro Zero Mission.
I prefer to let my actions speak for themselves when I play this game.
And boy, will they. With that, if you want to follow us on Twitter and on YouTube. We're at Smashterpieces. That's where all the VODs go on YouTube, where if we don't lose them, like I lost my... Sorry, part 3 of Pokemon is gone for me. I'm sorry. That's on me. I waited a really long time to start putting those VODs on there.
The Twitch is also kind of my responsibility, but...
Yeah, but the Smashterpieces VODs in particular have been mine, so I call that one on me.
It's a good thing I just checked, by the way, because there was another one about to disappear.
The VODs, you can find them there. If you want to follow the two of us on Twitter, I'm at StringPixel, and Matt is at Grimace Dominus. And if you want to watch the streams live and not on VODs, you can go to twitch.tv/Nintendo World Report, where we play even more than just the Smashterpieces games, including right now, we're starting to air pre-recorded episodes of us playing Dokapon Kingdom with 2 other people from the site.
I like that game.
It's going real well. It's going real well.
I love me some Dokapon Kingdom.
It has been fun. I'm enjoying it. And I think that's it. You can find the audio feed on anondino.squarespace.com, where you can also find the other show that I do with our good friend Peter, at Pete Speakeasy on Twitter, called Original Sound Chat, where if you like the part of the show where we talk about the soundtrack, that show is that. It's just that. So if you like video game music, go give that a look. That's it. That's all I got. I don't got anything else. So with that, my name is Joe.
My name is Matt.
And we'll see you next time for our discussion on Metroid Zero Mission.